What is up, guys? Braden here with Few Minute Studios, and today I'm just going to show you a quick video on the N249 delete on the Volkswagens and Audis. This is for the 1.8 motor. I'm not sure if they have it on other motors, but I do know that all 1.8s have some sort of variant to this. So I will just show you how to do it. I have a 2001 Audi TT 225. So yours, if you have one like mine, will be similar to this. Most TTs are pretty similar depending on your engine code. But I'll just show you how to do it on mine. It's very straightforward. You know how to do it on one, you can figure it out on the other. All right, so I've already taken mine out, but I'll put it back in, just not all the way, but just the basic, because I've seen videos on people doing it, but the whole point of making this video is because no one seems to explain fully on how they do it. Because there's this extra line on here that I've seen people in comments post about, and no one can seem to give a straight answer on how it goes. So this is just the very basic on how it works. All right, so it's gonna be set up similar to this. I mean, obviously it's gonna be bolted down in there. You're gonna have your vacuum chamber right here that stores boost, your solenoid that lets off the boost. You're gonna have your two lines. This one runs over here into the intake manifold, and then this one runs right in here into some other solenoid. I don't know the exact name. It's like an N12 or J12 or something like that. I believe it has something to do with the secondary air injection, because it goes from here, this plugs into there, and comes over, and this line right here comes into like this pancake valve style thing, which then goes to the secondary air injection. This actually goes down into the block. I know you can get block off plates for these, which I would like to eventually, but as of right now, I'm just keeping it like that. So basically, to show you how it works. So it's gonna sit like this. You're gonna have this coming off the top of the diverter valve into the N249. It'll go on the top just like that. And then you're gonna have another hose just like this. I've already taken mine off, obviously, but it's gonna go on both sides of it. This is how it's gonna sit. And then it's gonna be clipped in the back. So these are both going here. And then there's two little nipples on here, one here and one right there. And that's where these two plug into it. And then there's this side hose, which is where the vacuum chamber comes to. So what I mainly wanna focus on is these two, because it's pretty self-explanatory. So you're gonna take the hose off of the diverter valve. You're gonna remove everything. Basically, you wanna remove these two hoses. Remember where they go, but you wanna remove them. So after you get everything out of here, so let's just pull this all back out. Set it off to the side. All right, after you get everything out, you're gonna be left with your N249 right here. Leave that plugged in, all right? If you don't leave that plugged in, you will get a check engine light, which, believe it or not, I had a friend that did it on a Beetle, and I don't believe he ended up getting a check engine light, but just to be on the safe side, I would just leave it plugged in, because I know most tuners, if you ask them when you get a tune for your car, they can disable the N249. That's part of the delete package, but I have an APR tune, and I've had the tune before I just deleted that, so I cannot have that. I guess I can go back in and have them reflashed, but as of right now, it is just going to have to stay plugged in and tucked away back there. But, so, you're gonna take from your diverter valve, you remember how it plugged in here, and it also plugged in down here. So you're going to run a line from the top of your diverter valve all the way down and plug it into your intake manifold right here. There will be two nipples right here. There's one here and one like here, just rough estimate. This one, the back one, on mine goes to my fuel pressure regulator, and which you don't have to replace the line. I just did anyway because I like the red. And then the second one went up to the N249. So now you're gonna run that second one that went to the N249 from here all the way up to the top of the diverter valve, all right? And then after you run that, so it's just gonna plug it straight onto the top of the diverter, straight in there. Now, after you run that, you're going to actually have a second line, which is what most people don't show you. this is what I had to figure out myself, which wasn't too bad. But so that runs to there, that was over there. The second line that plugged in goes to this little valve that I was talking about earlier right here. Now, depending on your model and motor and all that, this valve may be in a different place. You may not even have the valve. Like we have a 2003 Turbo S that also has a 1.8 motor, and I do not believe it actually even has this valve. It's a little different setup. So right here, where that valve is, where that line plugged into, all I did was I just plugged it, so it didn't have a vacuum leak. I just plugged it right there with the little vacuum, what is it called? The vacuum plug, I guess you can call it. And I just plugged it right there, and that actually goes from here, the little valve's right there, and then it goes over and plugs into here, which is something to do with the N249, or not the N249, the secondary air. And my secondary air doesn't actually work anyway, so, which is pretty common on these cars, to be honest. But yeah, that's the basics of it. You just run from the top of your diverter to the back nipple on the intake manifold. Depending on, my intake manifold faces this direction, the 180 models will face that direction because I have the dual intercoolers. It may run a little different. I think my friend's Turbo S, his actually plugs in right here and comes up to the diverter valve. But it's just wherever that line from the N249 came off of and plugged in, just plug the diverter valve straight into there. So that way you get the constant pressure and or boost, and it's not bleeding off every now and then. I'm not gonna say whether or not to do it, because personally I can't say I tell a huge difference. It's maybe a little bit smoother when getting into boost, but again, that may just be all in my head and the placebo effect or whatever. But I cannot tell a huge difference, but it does seem, again, whether this is what it's supposed to or not, it does seem to get into boost smoother. Like there's not as much, how do I put this? It's just not as rough, which I guess makes sense because it's not bleeding it off. That chamber is now gone, and it's just a straight constant pressure from your diverter to your intake. But yeah, it's very simple to do. I mean, it should take you 10, 15 minutes. Take it all off, run the line. You just basically to do it, remove these two little Phillips head screws in there. This pops off, and there are two Allen keys right here. And after you do that, this whole piece right in here pops off, set it aside. You can reach under there, do the two. If you have a motor like mine, you can reach the nipples there. If you have the Turbo S motor, which I believe is the AWP, you may have them up here. So you don't even have to do any of that. You literally just run the line straight to right there. But it's the same concept no matter your motor. So yeah, I hope this helps. Please like and subscribe. If you guys want me to do more videos on my car, I have a lot done to it. Maybe make some future videos. My friend actually just bought a 2002 Audi TT, the 180 version. So maybe we can get some clips of both of ours together. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hope this helps.